Welcome to BookPilot, where great books become powerful ideas. If you enjoy the journey, subscribe and join our community. Now let's begin.
Social Intelligence, Mastering the Psychology of Human Behavior, produced by Audiobook Center. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to navigate social situations effortlessly, while others struggle to make meaningful connections? Picture a room full of strangers at a networking event. Two individuals walk in. The first person stands awkwardly in the corner, checking their phone, while the second moves through the crowd with ease, leaving a trail of smiling faces and engaged conversations in their wake. What sets these two people apart isn't necessarily their knowledge, experience, or even their natural charisma. It's their level of social intelligence. Consider the remarkable transformation of Warren Buffett, one of the world's most successful investors. Early in his career, Buffett was terrified of public speaking and struggled with social interactions. Recognizing this limitation, he enrolled in a Dale Carnegie course on public speaking and human relations. This investment in his social intelligence proved to be one of his most valuable decisions. Today, thousands of people flock to Omaha annually just to hear him speak, and his ability to build trust and relationships has been crucial to his business success. According to research published in the Harvard Business Review, social intelligence is twice as important as technical skills in determining professional success. A comprehensive study tracking over 2,000 executives showed that 90% of top performers scored high in social intelligence, while only 20% of bottom performers displayed similar capabilities. But social intelligence isn't just about professional advancement. It permeates every aspect of our lives, from our intimate relationships to our casual interactions at the grocery store. Recent neuroscience research has revealed that our brains are literally wired for social connection. When we engage in positive social interactions, our bodies release oxytocin, often called the trust hormone, which reduces stress and anxiety while promoting bonding and trust. In this book, we'll embark on a fascinating journey through the psychology of human behavior, exploring the intricate dance of social interaction that shapes our daily lives. We'll delve into groundbreaking research from social psychology, neuroscience, and behavioral economics to understand how our minds process social information and how we can harness this knowledge to build more meaningful connections. Throughout this book, you'll discover practical strategies for reading social cues, understanding emotional dynamics, and developing authentic relationships. We'll explore how to navigate complex social situations, from handling difficult conversations to building rapport with diverse personalities. You'll learn the art of active listening, the power of nonverbal communication, and the subtle nuances of emotional intelligence that can transform your social interactions. Moreover, we'll examine real-world case studies of individuals and organizations that have mastered social intelligence, analyzing their strategies and extracting valuable lessons you can apply in your own life. From world leaders who've brokered peace deals through masterful diplomacy to everyday heroes who've built strong communities through their social awareness, these stories will illustrate the transformative power of social intelligence. But this isn't just another self-help book filled with theoretical concepts. Each chapter includes practical exercises and actionable techniques you can implement immediately. You'll find strategies for developing empathy, improving your listening skills, and building genuine connections with others. We'll also address common social challenges and provide proven solutions for overcoming social anxiety, handling conflict, and building confidence in various social settings. As we progress through this journey together, you'll understand why social intelligence is more crucial now than ever before. In our increasingly digital world, where face-to-face interactions are becoming rarer and more valuable, the ability to connect meaningfully with others sets successful individuals apart. According to the World Economic Forum, social intelligence ranks among the top 10 skills needed for future career success, alongside technical abilities and cognitive skills. By the end of this book, you'll have developed a comprehensive toolkit for understanding and influencing human behavior. Whether you're an executive looking to lead more effectively, a professional aiming to build stronger relationships, or simply someone who wants to enrich their personal life through better connections, the principles and practices in this book will guide you toward mastering the art of social intelligence. Remember, social intelligence isn't an innate talent that some people are born with and others lack. It's a skill that can be developed and refined with understanding and practice. As you turn these pages, you're taking the first step toward transforming your social interactions and unlocking your full potential in connecting with others. Let's begin this transformative journey together, exploring the fascinating world of human behavior and discovering how to harness its power to create more meaningful, successful, and fulfilling relationships in every area of your life. Chapter 1. Foundations of Social Intelligence. Picture yourself walking into a crowded room. Within seconds, you instinctively assess the atmosphere, notice subtle facial expressions, and pick up on unspoken social dynamics. This remarkable ability, developed over millions of years of human evolution, is what we call social intelligence. Our capacity to navigate, understand, and thrive in complex social environments. While many of us take these abilities for granted, they represent one of humanity's most sophisticated evolutionary achievements. Imagine our earliest ancestors gathering around a fire, their survival depending not just on physical strength or tool-making abilities, but on their capacity to cooperate, communicate, and understand each other's intentions. Archaeological evidence suggests that early human settlements grew larger and more complex precisely because our ancestors developed superior social cognitive abilities compared to other species. This evolutionary advantage allowed them to form larger, more sophisticated social groups, leading to unprecedented cooperation and cultural development. As we explore the foundations of social intelligence, let's first understand how it differs from other forms of intelligence. Consider 3 students in a classroom. The first excels at mathematical problems, but struggles to work in groups. The second shows remarkable emotional sensitivity, but has difficulty with academic subjects. And the third might not top the class in grades, but naturally brings people together and resolves conflicts. Each demonstrates a different type of intelligence: general intelligence, emotional intelligence, and social intelligence, respectively. While general intelligence measures our ability to solve abstract problems and process information, and emotional intelligence focuses on understanding and managing our own emotions, social intelligence encompasses a broader spectrum of abilities. It's our capacity to effectively navigate social situations, understand others' behaviors and motivations, and build meaningful relationships. Research from the field of cognitive psychology suggests that these different forms of intelligence, while related, operate through distinct neural pathways and can be developed independently. The neuroscience behind social cognition reveals fascinating insights into how our brains process social information. The discovery of mirror neurons in the 1990s revolutionized our understanding of social intelligence. These specialized brain cells fire both when we perform an action and when we observe others performing the same action, essentially creating a neural basis for empathy and social understanding. Recent studies using functional MRI scanning have identified specific brain regions, including the temporal parietal junction and the medial prefrontal cortex, that activate specifically during social interactions. A compelling example of social intelligence in action comes from the business world. Consider Microsoft's transformation under Satya Nadella's leadership. When he took over as CEO in 2014, the company was known for its competitive, sometimes combative culture. Nadella, recognized for his high social intelligence, transformed the organization by emphasizing empathy, collaboration, and understanding. Under his leadership, Microsoft's market value increased by more than $500 billion, demonstrating how social intelligence can drive tangible business results. The core components of social intelligence form a comprehensive framework for understanding and developing these skills. First is social awareness, our ability to read social situations and understand others' needs and feelings. Second is social facility, our capability to interact smoothly and effectively with others. Third is social cognition, our ability to understand social norms and dynamics. Fourth is behavioral flexibility, our capacity to adapt our behavior to different social contexts. And fifth is social presence, our ability to project confidence and authenticity in social situations. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology shows that individuals who score highly in these components are not only more successful in their careers, but also report higher levels of life satisfaction and better quality relationships. A longitudinal study following professionals over 20 years found that those with high social intelligence were 4 times more likely to reach senior leadership positions compared to those with average social intelligence scores. In our modern society, social intelligence plays an increasingly crucial role. The World Economic Forum predicts that as automation and artificial intelligence take over routine tasks, human skills like social intelligence will become even more valuable. In fact, a recent McKinsey report suggests that jobs requiring high social intelligence are among the least likely to be automated, with a probability of less than 10%. Consider the rise of remote work and digital communication. While technology has changed how we interact, it hasn't reduced the importance of social intelligence. If anything, it's made it more crucial. The ability to read digital social cues, maintain relationships virtually, and collaborate effectively across cultural and geographical boundaries has become essential for success in the modern workplace. The assessment of social intelligence has evolved significantly over the years. Traditional methods like the Tromso social intelligence scale measure aspects like social information processing, social skills, and social awareness. However, modern assessment approaches have become more comprehensive, incorporating real-world scenarios and behavioral observations. Leading organizations now use sophisticated assessment centers that evaluate social intelligence through simulated interactions, group exercises, and situational judgment tests. A fascinating example comes from Google's Project Oxygen, which studied what makes effective leaders. The research revealed that technical expertise ranked last among the 8 most important qualities of successful leaders, while social intelligence-related skills, such as being a good coach, communicating effectively, and showing empathy, dominated the top spots. As we conclude this chapter, let's recap the key points we've covered. We've learned that social intelligence is a distinct form of intelligence, shaped by millions of years of human evolution. We've explored its neurological basis, including the role of mirror neurons and specialized brain regions. We've examined its 5 core components: social awareness, social facility, social cognition, behavioral flexibility, and social presence. We've seen how social intelligence plays a crucial role in modern society, particularly in the context of technological advancement and changing work environments. Finally, we've looked at various methods for assessing and developing social intelligence. The good news is that social intelligence isn't fixed. It can be developed and enhanced through conscious effort and practice. As we continue through this book, we'll explore specific strategies and techniques for strengthening each component of social intelligence, helping you become more effective in your social interactions and relationships. Remember, every social interaction is an opportunity to learn and grow. Your journey to developing stronger social intelligence begins with understanding these foundations and committing to continuous improvement. In the next chapter, we'll delve deeper into specific strategies for enhancing your social awareness and reading social cues more effectively. Chapter 2: The Art of Reading People. Imagine you're watching a movie with the sound turned off. Despite the silence, you can still follow the story. The joy, anger, deception, and love, all through the actor's facial expressions, gestures, and movements. This remarkable ability to read people without words is not just a cinematic experience. It's a fundamental human skill that we can all develop and master. In fact, research shows that up to 93% of our communication is nonverbal, making the art of reading people perhaps the most crucial aspect of social intelligence. Consider former FBI agent Joe Navarro, who spent 25 years reading people in high-stakes situations. He often shares a story about how he once identified a Russian spy not through advanced surveillance or intercepted communications, but by noticing subtle changes in the suspect's baseline behaviors during routine conversations. These minute shifts in body language and facial expressions told a story that words alone could never reveal. Understanding nonverbal communication begins with recognizing that our bodies constantly send messages, whether we intend to or not. A groundbreaking study by the University of California, Los Angeles, found that while spoken words account for only 7% of message interpretation, body language contributes 55%, and voice tonality accounts for 38%. This means that mastering the art of reading people requires us to tune into these silent signals that often speak louder than words. Let's delve deeper into facial expressions, the most nuanced aspect of nonverbal communication. Dr. Paul Ekman's revolutionary research identified 7 universal facial expressions: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, disgust, and contempt. These expressions transcend cultural boundaries and are recognized consistently across different societies. More fascinating are micro-expressions, brief, involuntary facial movements that last for just 1/25th of a second. These fleeting expressions often reveal true emotions that someone might be trying to conceal. Take the case of professional poker player Liv Boeree, who has won millions by mastering the art of reading micro-expressions. She describes how noticing a slight tensing of an opponent's jaw or a momentary squint can reveal more about their hand than hours of observing their betting patterns. While most of us aren't playing high-stakes poker, these same observational skills can help us navigate everyday situations, from business negotiations to personal relationships. Moving beyond the face, body language provides a wealth of information about people's thoughts, feelings, and intentions. Research from Harvard Business School demonstrates that certain body positions can not only reflect, but actually influence our mental states. The famous Power Pose study showed that adopting expansive, confident postures for just 2 minutes increased testosterone levels by 20% and decreased cortisol levels by 25%, demonstrating the profound connection between our bodies and minds. Voice tonality and paralinguistics, the aspects of vocal communication beyond words, add another layer to people reading. Studies from the University of Portsmouth reveal that we can detect emotions like happiness, sadness, and anger in voice tone with remarkable accuracy, even across different languages. The pitch, pace, volume, and rhythm of speech often convey more meaning than the words themselves. Think about how the same phrase, such as fine, can convey completely different messages depending on how it's said. Albert Morabian's pioneering research established that when there's a disconnect between words and tone, listeners tend to believe the tone rather than the words. This explains why we can often sense when someone's enthusiastic "thank you" actually masks disappointment, or when a casual "it's nothing" actually signals deeper hurt. Cultural differences add complexity to nonverbal communication. What's considered appropriate eye contact in one culture might be disrespectful in another. For instance, while direct eye contact is valued in Western cultures as a sign of confidence and honesty, in many Asian cultures, prolonged eye contact with authority figures may be seen as disrespectful. A study published in the Journal of Cross-Cultural Psychology found that Japanese participants were more likely to focus on the overall face when reading emotions, while American participants concentrated more on specific features. Understanding these cultural nuances is increasingly important in our globalized world. Former United Nations Secretary-General Kofi Annan was renowned for his ability to bridge cultural divides through his careful attention to nonverbal cues. His success in international diplomacy often stemmed from his ability to adapt his nonverbal communication style to different cultural contexts. Common mistakes in people reading often stem from overconfidence in our interpretations or failing to consider context. One significant error is the fundamental attribution error, attributing someone's behavior to their personality rather than their situation. For example, we might label someone as unfriendly because they're not smiling, when they might simply be preoccupied with a personal problem. Another common mistake is reading single gestures in isolation rather than looking for clusters of behaviors. Dr. David Matsumoto, a renowned expert in nonverbal behavior, emphasizes that accurate people reading requires observing multiple consistent signals rather than relying on any single cue. For instance, crossed arms alone don't necessarily indicate defensiveness. The person might simply be cold or comfortable in that position. Developing strong observational skills requires practice and systematic approach. The SCAN method, survey, clarify, analyze, navigate, provides a structured way to improve people reading abilities. 1. Survey. Observe the person's baseline behavior in neutral situations. 2. Clarify. Look for changes from this baseline during interactions. 3. Analyze. Consider clusters of behaviors rather than isolated gestures. 4. Navigate. Adjust your own behavior based on these observations. Professional practitioners like FBI agents and poker players often use a technique called behavioral baseline assessment. This involves observing someone's typical behavior patterns in casual situations to better identify meaningful deviations. For example, someone who naturally talks with their hands might draw attention by suddenly becoming still, a potential indicator of stress or deception. Practice exercises can significantly improve your people reading skills. Start by observing people in public places like cafes or parks, focusing on one aspect of nonverbal communication at a time. Pay attention to how people's expressions change during phone conversations, or how their posture shifts when different people approach them. These real-world observations provide invaluable practice in reading nonverbal cues. As we conclude this chapter, let's recap the key points we've covered. We've explored the significance of nonverbal communication, which comprises up to 93% of our message interpretation. We've examined the 7 universal facial expressions and the revealing nature of microexpressions. We've discussed body language interpretation and the importance of reading clusters of behaviors rather than isolated gestures. We've looked at voice tonality and paralinguistics, understanding how the way something is said often matters more than the words themselves. We've acknowledged the importance of cultural differences in nonverbal communication and identified common mistakes in people reading. Finally, we've explored practical methods for developing stronger observational skills. Remember, becoming skilled at reading people isn't about gaining power over others. It's about developing a deeper understanding of human behavior and building more meaningful connections. Every interaction offers an opportunity to practice and refine these skills. As you move forward, focus on observing with curiosity rather than judgment, and remember that everyone has a story told not just through their words, but through their entire being. In our next chapter, we'll explore how to use these people reading skills effectively in various social situations, from professional settings to personal relationships. The journey to mastering social intelligence continues with each observation and interaction, building your capacity for deeper understanding and more meaningful connections with others. Chapter 3. Emotional Attunement. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt the tension in the air, or found yourself smiling simply because someone else was radiating joy? This invisible but powerful force that shapes our interactions and influences our behavior is emotional attunement, our ability to recognize, understand, and respond to both our own emotions and those of others. Like a skilled musician who can detect subtle variations in pitch and tone, developing emotional attunement allows us to navigate the complex symphony of human emotions with grace and understanding. Consider the remarkable story of Nelson Mandela, who transformed decades of anger and resentment into a force for reconciliation and healing. During his 27 years in prison, Mandela developed an extraordinary capacity for emotional attunement, learning to understand not only his own emotions, but also those of his captors. This ability later enabled him to lead South Africa through a peaceful transition from apartheid, demonstrating how emotional mastery can create profound social change. Understanding and managing our own emotions forms the foundation of emotional attunement. Recent neuroscience research from the University of California, Berkeley, reveals that people who can accurately identify and label their emotions are better equipped to regulate them effectively. This process, known as emotional granularity, involves developing a rich emotional vocabulary and awareness. Instead of simply feeling bad, we might recognize that we're feeling disappointed, frustrated, or anxious, each emotion requiring a different response. The process of emotional self-awareness begins with recognition. A helpful technique developed by Dr. Mark Brackett at the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence is the ruler approach. Recognizing emotions in oneself and others, understanding their causes and consequences, labeling them precisely, expressing them appropriately, and regulating them effectively. Research shows that individuals who master these skills report higher levels of life satisfaction and demonstrate greater resilience in facing challenges. Take the case of Oprah Winfrey, who often speaks about how understanding her own emotional patterns transformed her career and personal life. Early in her career, she realized that her emotional reactions to criticism were holding her back. By developing greater emotional self-awareness, she learned to respond rather than react, turning potential setbacks into opportunities for growth. This emotional mastery became a cornerstone of her success and helped her connect authentically with millions of viewers. Moving beyond self-awareness, recognizing emotions in others requires a combination of observation and empathy. Studies from the Max Planck Institute for Human Cognitive and Brain Sciences show that our brains are wired for emotional recognition through mirror neurons, which activate both when we experience an emotion and when we observe it in others. This biological foundation for empathy can be strengthened through conscious practice and attention. The contagion effect of emotions is particularly fascinating. Research published in the journal Nature Neuroscience demonstrates that emotions can spread through social networks like a virus, influencing people up to 3 degrees of separation away. This means your emotional state can affect not only your immediate contacts, but also their contacts. Understanding this ripple effect highlights the responsibility and opportunity we have in managing our emotional impact on others. Consider the workplace implications of emotional contagion. A study of leadership in Fortune 500 companies found that teams led by managers with high emotional awareness were 20% more productive than those led by managers with lower emotional awareness. The research showed that a leader's emotional state could influence team performance more significantly than their technical expertise or strategic decisions. Building emotional resilience is crucial for maintaining emotional balance in challenging situations. Dr. Angela Duckworth's research on grit and resilience suggests that emotional resilience isn't about avoiding negative emotions, but developing the capacity to bounce back from them effectively. This involves building what psychologists call an emotional buffer, a reservoir of positive experiences and coping strategies that help us weather emotional storms. The Japanese concept of kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with gold, provides a beautiful metaphor for emotional resilience. Just as a repaired pottery becomes more valuable and unique because of its breaks, our emotional resilience grows stronger through our experiences of overcoming challenges. Each emotional challenge becomes an opportunity for growth and learning. Developing empathy takes this emotional understanding to a deeper level. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that empathy can be cultivated through conscious practice. One effective technique is perspective-taking exercises, where we deliberately imagine ourselves in another person's situation. This practice activates brain regions associated with emotional processing and increases our capacity for understanding others' experiences. Michelle Obama provides an excellent example of applied empathy in leadership. During her time as First Lady, she consistently demonstrated the ability to connect with people from all walks of life by genuinely understanding and acknowledging their experiences. Her approach to public service was grounded in emotional attunement, allowing her to bridge divides and create meaningful connections across social and political boundaries. Active listening plays a crucial role in emotional attunement. The Center for Creative Leadership found that leaders who practice active listening are rated as 40% more effective than those who don't. Active listening involves more than just hearing words. It requires full engagement with both the emotional and cognitive content of communication. This means paying attention to tone, body language, and the emotional undertones of what's being said. The HEAR method provides a practical framework for active listening. 1. Halt. Stop whatever else you're doing. 2. Engage. Focus fully on the speaker. 3. Anticipate. Listen for meaning, not just words. 4. Replay. Reflect back what you've heard to ensure understanding. Managing emotional triggers requires understanding our emotional hot buttons and developing strategies to respond rather than react. Research from the Yale School of Management shows that people who can identify their emotional triggers and have prepared response strategies are 60% more likely to maintain composure in challenging situations. A practical approach to managing triggers is the STOP technique. 1. Stop what you're doing. 2. Take a step back. 3. Observe your thoughts and feelings. 4. Proceed mindfully. Think of emotional triggers like a fire alarm system. While it's important to have an alarm that alerts us to danger, we need to be able to distinguish between a real fire and a system malfunction. Similarly, our emotional triggers can alert us to important situations, but we need the wisdom to respond appropriately rather than react automatically. As we conclude this chapter, let's review the key points we've covered. We've explored the importance of understanding and managing our own emotions through techniques like emotional granularity and the ruler approach. We've examined how emotions spread through social networks and the responsibility this creates for emotional leadership. We've discussed building emotional resilience and developing empathy through conscious practice. We've looked at active listening techniques and strategies for managing emotional triggers. Remember, emotional attunement is not about suppressing or controlling emotions, but about developing a deeper understanding of emotional dynamics and responding wisely. Like any skill, it improves with practice and patience. Each interaction presents an opportunity to strengthen your emotional awareness and connection with others. In our next chapter, we'll explore how to apply these emotional attunement skills in specific challenging situations, from handling conflict to building stronger relationships. Your journey toward greater emotional mastery continues with each conscious choice to engage with emotions, both your own and others, with awareness, understanding, and wisdom. Chapter 4. Social Dynamics and Power Structures. Imagine walking into your high school reunion. Within minutes, you notice how the old social patterns begin to resurface. The former class president naturally taking charge of conversations, the quiet achievers forming their own intimate circles, and the social butterflies floating effortlessly between groups. This scene perfectly illustrates how social dynamics and power structures shape our interactions, often in ways we don't consciously recognize. Understanding these invisible forces is like gaining access to the source code of human social behavior. Consider the fascinating case of Abraham Lincoln, who rose from humble beginnings to become one of history's most influential leaders. Lincoln's mastery of social dynamics wasn't just about his policies or speeches. It was his remarkable ability to understand and navigate the complex web of relationships, power structures, and group dynamics that set him apart. His famous team of rivals cabinet demonstrated his exceptional skill in turning potential adversaries into allies by understanding and leveraging social dynamics. Understanding group dynamics begins with recognizing that every social group, whether a family, workplace team, or community organization, operates according to certain predictable patterns. Research from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology reveals that successful groups exhibit specific interaction patterns that can be measured and replicated. Their study of over 2,500 teams showed that the most effective groups balanced speaking time among members and demonstrated high levels of what they termed social sensitivity, the ability to read and respond to social cues. Take the example of Pixar Animation Studios, renowned not just for its creative output, but for its innovative approach to group dynamics. Ed Catmull, Pixar's co-founder, deliberately structured the company's brain trust meetings to neutralize hierarchy when discussing projects. This approach created an environment where even junior artists could challenge senior directors' ideas, leading to better creative outcomes. Studies show that this type of psychological safety in groups can increase innovation by up to 40%. Status and hierarchy in social settings exist whether we acknowledge them or not. Recent anthropological research suggests that humans have an innate ability to recognize and navigate social hierarchies, developed through millions of years of evolution. However, modern social hierarchies are more complex and fluid than ever before. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that status today is increasingly based on perceived value contribution rather than traditional markers of authority. Consider how technology entrepreneurs like Mark Zuckerberg challenged traditional business hierarchies by creating more informal, collaborative work environments. Yet even in these seemingly flat organizations, subtle status hierarchies emerge based on factors like technical expertise, social connection, and problem-solving ability. Understanding these nuanced status dynamics is crucial for effective social navigation. Social roles and their influence shape our behavior in profound ways. The classic Stanford prison experiment, while controversial, demonstrated how quickly people adapt to assigned social roles. More recent research from Harvard Business School shows that our social roles significantly influence our behavior, decision-making, and even our personality expression. People often perform differently in various contexts as a parent, professional, friend, or leader, adapting their behavior to meet the expectations of each role. Power dynamics in relationships operate on multiple levels. Research by Dr. Docker Keltner at UC Berkeley reveals that power can be exercised through various channels: formal authority, expertise, social connection, and personal charisma. His studies show that the most effective leaders are those who understand and can flexibly use different types of power depending on the situation. This concept of power intelligence suggests that power is not about domination, but about influence and the ability to create positive change. Michelle Obama's evolution as First Lady provides an excellent example of masterful navigation of power dynamics. Despite having no formal governmental authority, she developed significant influence through building authentic connections, demonstrating expertise in chosen areas, and strategically using her platform to create meaningful change. Her approach demonstrates how understanding power dynamics can enable positive social impact. Social capital, often described as the currency of relationships, is increasingly recognized as a crucial factor in personal and professional success. A longitudinal study by Harvard University tracked individuals over 75 years and found that the quality of social relationships was the strongest predictor of both happiness and longevity. Building social capital involves creating value for others while developing a network of meaningful relationships. The cultivation of social capital follows certain principles. 1. Authenticity, building genuine connections based on shared values and interests. 2. Reciprocity, creating mutual benefit in relationships. 3. Consistency, maintaining regular, meaningful contact. 4. Value creation, contributing positively to other success. 5. Network diversity, developing relationships across different social spheres. Navigating organizational politics requires understanding both formal and informal power structures. A fascinating study by Columbia Business School found that employees who were skilled at organizational navigation were 36% more likely to receive positive performance evaluations and 40% more likely to be promoted, regardless of their technical expertise. This highlights the importance of developing political intelligence, the ability to understand and navigate organizational dynamics effectively. Consider the approach of Mary Barra, CEO of General Motors, who successfully navigated the complex politics of a traditional industry while implementing significant changes. Her strategy involved understanding existing power structures while gradually building coalitions for change. Research shows that successful organizational change requires support from both formal authority figures and informal influencers. Building and maintaining alliances is an art that combines multiple aspects of social intelligence. The Center for Creative Leadership's research suggests that leaders who actively build alliances are 2.5 times more likely to successfully implement major organizational changes. Effective alliance building involves several key strategies. 1. Identifying shared interests and goals. 2. Creating win-win situations. 3. Maintaining regular communication. 4. Demonstrating reliability and trustworthiness. 5. Supporting allies during challenging times. Former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger's diplomatic success provides valuable lessons in alliance building. His approach emphasized understanding different parties' motivations and finding ways to align interests, even among groups with historically antagonistic relationships. This demonstrates how skilled alliance building can transform competitive relationships into collaborative ones. As we conclude this chapter, let's recap the essential points we've covered. We've explored how group dynamics shape social interactions and the importance of understanding both formal and informal hierarchies. We've examined the influence of social roles and how they affect behavior and relationships. We've discussed power dynamics and their various manifestations in different contexts. We've looked at the crucial role of social capital and strategies for its development. We've explored the complexities of organizational politics and the importance of skilled navigation. Finally, we've examined the principles of building and maintaining effective alliances. Remember, understanding social dynamics and power structures isn't about manipulation or gaining advantage over others. Instead, it's about developing the awareness and skills to create positive change, build meaningful relationships, and contribute to the success of both individuals and groups. Like a skilled conductor who understands how different instruments work together to create harmony, mastering social dynamics allows you to help create more effective and satisfying social environments. In our next chapter, we'll explore how to apply these insights about social dynamics and power structures in specific challenging situations, from managing conflict to leading change initiatives. Your journey toward greater social intelligence continues with each interaction, each relationship, and each opportunity to create positive impact through understanding and skillful navigation of social dynamics. Chapter 5. The Psychology of Influence and Persuasion. Why do some ideas spread like wildfire while others fade into obscurity? How do certain individuals consistently inspire action and change in others while maintaining their integrity? The psychology of influence and persuasion holds the answers to these questions, offering insights into one of the most powerful aspects of social intelligence, the ability to ethically shape thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Consider the remarkable impact of Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech. While its historical significance is well known, what's less discussed is the masterful way King employed the principles of influence and persuasion. He built genuine rapport through shared values, established credibility through moral authority, and created a compelling vision that resonated with universal human aspirations. Most importantly, he achieved this influence while maintaining the highest ethical standards, demonstrating how persuasion can be both powerful and principled. The core principles of influence, as identified through decades of research by Dr. Robert Cialdini and others, form the foundation of ethical persuasion. These principles aren't manipulative tactics, but rather fundamental aspects of human psychology that, when understood and applied ethically, can create positive change. A comprehensive study by the Harvard Business Review found that leaders who master these principles while maintaining ethical standards are 64% more effective at implementing organizational change than those who rely on formal authority alone. Consider how Malala Yousafzai has influenced millions worldwide in her advocacy for girls' education. Her persuasive power comes not from traditional authority, but from the authentic application of influence principles. Consistency in her message, social proof through her own example, and the scarcity principle highlighted by her unique perspective as a survivor and advocate. Research from the Yale School of Management shows that such authentic influence is 3 times more effective than persuasion attempts based on position or power alone. Building genuine rapport, the foundation of lasting influence, requires more than surface-level pleasantries. Neuroscience research from the University of California reveals that genuine rapport activates mirror neurons in both parties' brains, creating a neural synchrony that facilitates trust and understanding. This explains why authentic connections are so powerful in influence and persuasion. The REACH method provides a practical framework for building rapport. 1. Respect. Demonstrate genuine regard for others' perspectives. 2. Empathy. Understand and acknowledge others' feelings. 3. Authenticity. Maintain genuine and transparent communication. 4. Curiosity. Show sincere interest in others' views. 5. Harmony. Find common ground while respecting differences. The role of authority and credibility in influence cannot be overstated, but modern research reveals surprising insights about their nature. A Stanford University study found that perceived expertise accounts for only 30% of credibility, while trustworthiness and relatability make up the remaining 70%. This explains why influencers like Bill Gates are often more persuasive when sharing personal stories about failure and learning than when simply stating facts and figures. Take the case of Brené Brown, whose influence has grown exponentially not despite, but because of her willingness to share vulnerabilities. Her approach demonstrates how modern authority is built on authenticity and shared experience rather than traditional power structures. Research from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology confirms that leaders who show appropriate vulnerability are rated as 22% more trustworthy than those who maintain a more traditional authoritative stance. Persuasion techniques must be grounded in ethics to be truly effective in the long term. A fascinating study from the University of Pennsylvania tracked persuasion attempts over 5 years and found that ethical persuaders maintained their influence over time, while those using manipulative tactics saw their influence decrease by an average of 47% after initial success. This research underscores the importance of ethical persuasion for sustainable influence. The ethics framework provides guidelines for ethical persuasion. 1. Empowerment. Help others make informed decisions. 2. Truth. Maintain honesty in all communications. 3. Harmony. Seek mutually beneficial outcomes. 4. Integrity. Align actions with stated values. 5. Choice. Respect others' right to decide. 6. Service. Focus on creating value for others. Resistance to manipulation is becoming increasingly important in our information-rich world. Studies from the MIT Media Lab show that individuals who understand persuasion techniques are 40% less likely to fall victim to manipulative tactics. This knowledge serves a dual purpose. It helps us influence others ethically while protecting ourselves from manipulation. The psychology of reciprocity, one of the most powerful principles of influence, operates on both conscious and unconscious levels. Research from the University of Chicago demonstrates that acts of giving activate pleasure centers in the brain, creating a natural desire to reciprocate. However, this principle must be applied authentically to be effective. A study of business relationships found that genuine, no-strings-attached assistance was 5 times more likely to generate reciprocity than calculated giving with explicit expectations. Consider how Adam Grant, organizational psychologist and author, embodies the principle of reciprocity through his concept of giving without expectation. His research shows that consistent givers, while initially seeming to sacrifice their own interests, often end up more successful than takers in the long run. This approach demonstrates how ethical influence can create sustainable success. Creating win-win situations represents the highest form of influence and persuasion. Research from the Harvard Negotiation Project shows that solutions focusing on mutual benefit are 67% more likely to result in long-term success compared to compromise-based solutions. The key lies in understanding that influence isn't a zero-sum game. The best outcomes often expand the pie rather than simply dividing it. The WIN method offers a practical approach to creating mutual benefit. 1. What matters? Identify core interests for all parties. 2. Innovative solutions. Explore creative options. 3. Navigate together, collaborate on implementation. A remarkable example of creating win-win situations comes from Jacinda Ardern's leadership during the COVID-19 crisis. Her approach to influencing public behavior combined clear communication, empathy, and a focus on collective benefit, resulting in one of the world's most effective pandemic responses. This demonstrates how ethical influence can create positive outcomes at a societal level. As we conclude this chapter, let's review the key points we've covered. We've explored the core principles of influence and how they can be applied ethically. We've examined the importance of building genuine rapport and the role of authentic authority and credibility. We've discussed ethical persuasion techniques and the importance of resistance to manipulation. We've delved into the psychology of reciprocity and the power of creating win-win situations. Remember, the goal of understanding influence and persuasion isn't to gain power over others, but to create positive change while maintaining ethical standards. Every interaction presents an opportunity to practice these principles in service of mutual benefit and growth. The most powerful influence comes not from manipulation or coercion, but from authentic connection and shared purpose. In our next chapter, we'll explore how to apply these principles of influence and persuasion in specific challenging situations, from leadership context to personal relationships. Your journey toward mastering ethical influence continues with each interaction, guided by the commitment to create positive impact while maintaining the highest standards of integrity. Chapter 6. Social Adaptability and Flexibility. Picture yourself at a global tech conference, surrounded by entrepreneurs from Silicon Valley, government officials from Asia, and academics from Europe. Each conversation requires a different approach, some formal, others casual, some direct, others nuanced. This scenario perfectly illustrates the essence of social adaptability and flexibility, perhaps the most crucial skills in our interconnected world. Just as water takes the shape of its container while maintaining its essential nature, socially intelligent individuals can adapt their approach while staying true to themselves. The ability to read social context is like having a sophisticated radar system for human interaction. Take former President Barack Obama, widely recognized for his exceptional social intelligence. Whether addressing world leaders at the United Nations or chatting with local farmers in rural communities, he demonstrated an uncanny ability to gauge the atmosphere and adjust his communication style accordingly. This skill isn't just reserved for world leaders. It's something we can all develop. The first step in mastering social context is careful observation. Notice the energy level in the room. Is it formal or relaxed? Pay attention to body language, tone of voice, and the physical arrangement of space. A 2022 study from Harvard Business School found that individuals who spent just 5 minutes observing a group's dynamics before joining a conversation were 60% more likely to make meaningful connections. Adjusting your communication style is like having different gears in your social transmission. Sometimes you need to be direct and concise, like in a business meeting. Other times, a more collaborative and exploratory approach works better, such as in creative brainstorming sessions. The key is recognizing which style fits the situation. Consider how Richard Branson adapts his communication style. He's equally effective whether he's pitching to investors or motivating his employees, each time adjusting his approach while maintaining his authentic personality. Cultural intelligence has become increasingly vital in our global society. Research from the Cultural Intelligence Center shows that professionals with high cultural intelligence are 3 times more likely to succeed in international assignments. This goes beyond knowing basic etiquette. It's about understanding deep cultural values and worldviews. For instance, while direct feedback might be appreciated in American business culture, it could be considered disrespectful in many Asian contexts. Managing different personality types requires a toolbox of approaches. Think of it as being a social chameleon, not to deceive, but to create harmony. When dealing with an analytical personality, focus on data and logical progression. For emotional types, acknowledge feelings and build personal connections. With dominant personalities, be direct and results-oriented. With amiable types, emphasize collaboration and relationship building. Situational awareness is your social GPS. It helps you navigate complex social landscapes by understanding the underlying currents of any situation. Consider how successful negotiators like the late Lee Kuan Yew, Singapore's founding father, could read not just what was being said, but the underlying motivations and unspoken concerns in any diplomatic engagement. Developing this awareness involves three key elements. First, understanding the context. What's the purpose of the interaction? Second, reading the emotional temperature. What's the general mood? Third, recognizing power dynamics. Who are the key decision-makers and influencers? A fascinating study by MIT's Human Dynamics Laboratory found that successful teams demonstrate high levels of situational awareness, leading to 35% better decision-making outcomes. Conflict resolution strategies are essential tools in your social adaptability arsenal. Nelson Mandela's approach to reconciliation in post-apartheid South Africa provides a masterclass in this area. He understood that effective conflict resolution isn't about winning. It's about finding common ground and creating sustainable solutions. This involves several key approaches: active listening, acknowledging all perspectives, focusing on interests rather than positions, and working toward mutually beneficial outcomes. Adaptive leadership skills tie all these elements together. Microsoft's Satya Nadella exemplifies this perfectly. When he took over as CEO, he transformed the company's culture from competitive to collaborative, demonstrating how adaptive leadership can revolutionize an organization. This involves reading the environment, adjusting your approach, and bringing others along on the journey. Research from McKinsey shows that leaders who demonstrate high social adaptability achieve 23% better outcomes in change management initiatives. This isn't surprising. When you can adapt your leadership style to different situations and people, you're better equipped to inspire and guide others through challenges and changes. Let's recap the key points we've covered in this exploration of social adaptability and flexibility. 1. Reading social context requires careful observation of both explicit and implicit signals in any situation. 2. Communication styles should be flexible and adjusted based on your audience and circumstance. 3. Cultural intelligence is crucial in our interconnected world and involves understanding deep cultural values. 4. Managing different personality types requires a versatile approach tailored to each individual. 5. Situational awareness helps you navigate complex social landscapes effectively. 6. Conflict resolution strategies should focus on finding common ground and sustainable solutions. 7. Adaptive leadership skills enable you to guide others through changing circumstances while maintaining authenticity. Remember, social adaptability isn't about losing yourself. It's about expanding your range of responses while staying true to your core values. Like a skilled musician who can play in different styles while maintaining their unique voice, you can develop the ability to adapt to any social situation while remaining authentically you. As you move forward, practice observing social contexts more deliberately. Start small, perhaps by noting the different dynamics in various meetings throughout your day. Pay attention to how successful communicators around you adjust their style. Most importantly, remember that social adaptability is a skill that can be developed with conscious practice and patience. The journey to social adaptability is ongoing, but with each step, you're building a more versatile and effective social toolkit. In our next chapter, we'll explore how to leverage these skills in specific challenging situations, from high-stakes negotiations to difficult conversations. Chapter 7. Building and Maintaining Relationships. Imagine walking into a room filled with the most influential people in your field. The air buzzes with conversation. Ideas flow freely and opportunities seem endless. But what truly sets apart those who thrive in such environments isn't their impressive credentials or achievements. It's their ability to build and maintain authentic, meaningful relationships. This fundamental skill, perhaps more than any other, determines our success, happiness, and overall well-being in both personal and professional spheres. Let's begin by exploring the psychology of trust, the cornerstone of all meaningful relationships. Think of trust as the invisible bridge between individuals. It can take years to build, seconds to break, and requires constant maintenance. Research from Harvard Business School reveals that organizations with high-trust cultures report 74% less stress, 106% more energy at work, and 50% higher productivity. But how exactly is trust built? Trust develops through a combination of consistency, competence, and care. Consider the example of Warren Buffett, whose reputation for honest communication and reliable performance has made him one of the most trusted figures in the business world. Even during market downturns, people trust his judgment because he's demonstrated these three elements consistently over decades. The process of creating meaningful connections goes beyond surface-level interactions. According to research by Dr. John Gottman, renowned for his work on relationships, it takes an average of 7 hours of meaningful interaction to build a close friendship. This involves what he calls turning toward bids for connection, those small moments when someone reaches out, whether through sharing a concern, expressing excitement, or seeking support. Consider the story of Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign. Its success wasn't just about the program itself, but about how she built genuine connections with communities across America. She listened to people's stories, shared her own experiences as a mother, and demonstrated authentic concern for children's health. This approach created a network of trust that amplified the campaign's impact far beyond its initial scope. Moving to network-building strategies, it's crucial to understand that successful networking isn't about collecting business cards or LinkedIn connections. It's about cultivating genuine relationships. Adam Grant, in his groundbreaking research, found that the most successful networkers are actually givers, people who focus on how they can help others rather than what they can gain. This approach creates a positive reciprocity cycle that builds stronger, more sustainable networks. A practical approach to network building involves what I call the 3-3-3 method. Spend 3 minutes reflecting before any interaction about how you might add value. Create 3 meaningful touchpoints during the conversation, and follow up within 3 days. This structured approach helps transform casual connections into meaningful relationships. The art of maintaining long-term relationships requires consistent effort and attention. Just as a garden needs regular tending, relationships need ongoing nurturing. Research from the University of Kansas shows that it takes about 50 hours of interaction to move from acquaintance to casual friend, 90 hours to become a real friend, and 200 hours to become a close friend. This underscores the importance of investing time and energy in relationships we value. Consider how Oprah Winfrey has maintained strong relationships throughout her career. Her friendship with Gayle King, spanning over 40 years, demonstrates the power of consistent support, honest communication, and shared values. Even as her empire grew, Oprah prioritized maintaining genuine connections with both old friends and new acquaintances. The establishment of healthy boundaries is crucial in building lasting relationships. Think of boundaries as the invisible force field that protects both you and your relationships. They're not walls that keep people out, but rather guidelines that help relationships flourish. A study from the University of California found that people who maintain clear personal and professional boundaries report 37% higher satisfaction in their relationships. When it comes to repairing damaged relationships, science offers some fascinating insights. Research from the Gottman Institute shows that successful relationship repair isn't about avoiding conflicts. It's about how we handle them. The magic ratio is 5-to-1, 5 positive interactions for every negative one to maintain a healthy relationship. This applies not just to romantic relationships, but to all interpersonal connections. Take the example of Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. Despite their fierce rivalry and occasional conflicts, they managed to repair their relationship later in life. Jobs once said that they had learned to appreciate each other's contributions and moved past their differences. This demonstrates how even deeply damaged relationships can be mended with the right approach and mindset. The development of strong social support systems is like creating your personal board of directors. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Psychology shows that people with strong social support systems are 70% more likely to cope successfully with major life challenges. Your support system should be diverse, including mentors, peers, friends, and family members who can offer different perspectives and types of support. The key to building a robust social support system lies in reciprocity and authenticity. LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman suggests thinking of your network as a garden. Some relationships need daily attention, others weekly or monthly, but all need regular tending to flourish. Let's recap the essential points we've covered in this chapter. 1. Trust is built through consistency, competence, and genuine care for others. 2. Meaningful connections require intentional effort and regular investment of time. 3. Effective network building focuses on giving value rather than taking. 4. Long-term relationship maintenance needs consistent attention and nurturing. 5. Healthy boundaries protect and strengthen relationships rather than limiting them. 6. Relationship repair is possible with the right approach and positive interaction ratio. 7. Strong social support systems require diversity and regular maintenance. As we conclude this chapter, remember that building and maintaining relationships is both an art and a science. It requires patience, intentionality, and genuine care for others. Start by identifying one relationship you'd like to strengthen and apply these principles consistently. Remember, every master relationship builder started with a single connection. The investment you make in relationships today will compound over time, creating a network of support, opportunity, and fulfillment that will serve you throughout your life. In our next chapter, we'll explore how to leverage these relationship-building skills in specific professional contexts, from leadership roles to collaborative projects. The digital age has redefined the way we connect, communicate, and build relationships. Every day, billions of people engage in online interactions, shaping not just personal connections, but also professional opportunities and global narratives. The digital realm is powerful and dynamic, offering unprecedented possibilities for connection, collaboration, and influence. Yet, it also presents unique challenges, from miscommunication to misinformation, making digital social intelligence a crucial skill in our modern world. Navigating online interactions starts with understanding the context of digital communication. Unlike face-to-face conversations, where tone, body language, and immediate feedback guide our understanding, online interactions often rely heavily on written words, emojis, and images. This shift demands an acute awareness of how messages can be interpreted differently depending on the platform, audience, and timing. For example, a light-hearted comment might come across as dismissive if the tone is unclear. Adopting clarity and thoughtfulness in your digital interactions can prevent misunderstandings and build trust. Social media psychology plays a significant role in shaping how we perceive ourselves and others online. Platforms like Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok are designed to capture attention and engagement, often amplifying curated realities. This can create a sense of comparison, where people measure their worth against carefully presented highlights of others' lives. Recognizing this phenomenon allows you to approach social media with a balanced mindset, focusing on genuine connection rather than competition. For instance, using these platforms to celebrate achievements, share knowledge, or support causes aligns with a purpose-driven approach to social media. Digital communication etiquette is the foundation of meaningful online interactions. From promptly responding to emails to maintaining professionalism in virtual meetings, the rules of etiquette adapt to the medium but remain rooted in respect and consideration. Take, for example, the importance of timing. Sending a work-related message late, at night, might unintentionally create stress for the recipient. Similarly, overusing capital letters or excessive punctuation can be misinterpreted as shouting or impatience. Being mindful of these nuances ensures your digital interactions are constructive and positive. Building virtual relationships requires authenticity and consistent effort. Just as face-to-face connections thrive on trust and mutual respect, Digital relationships need genuine engagement. Consider the story of a remote team leader who, despite never meeting their colleagues in person, fostered a sense of camaraderie through regular check-ins, video calls, and personalized messages. Their efforts created a supportive team culture, demonstrating that meaningful virtual relationships are not only possible but also impactful. Managing your online presence is essential in today's interconnected world. Your digital footprint, comprising social media profiles, professional websites, and even comments on public forums, shapes how others perceive you. Curating this presence with intention ensures alignment with your personal and professional goals. A job seeker, for instance, might optimize their LinkedIn profile to highlight achievements and skills, positioning themselves as an ideal candidate. Meanwhile, being conscious of privacy settings and the information you share protects your boundaries and security. Digital empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others in virtual spaces. In a world where online discussions often escalate into conflict, empathy becomes a bridge to meaningful dialogue. This involves reading between the lines of text-based communication, recognizing emotional cues, and responding with kindness. A real-world example is when an influencer, faced with critical comments, chose to respond by acknowledging the concerns raised, leading to a constructive exchange instead of a defensive spiral. Such actions showcase the power of empathy in turning potential conflicts into opportunities for connection. Avoiding common pitfalls in digital interactions involves awareness and proactive strategies. Oversharing personal details, engaging in heated debates, or falling for misinformation can undermine your online experience. For instance, before sharing an article, a quick fact-check ensures credibility, reinforcing your role as a responsible digital communicator. Similarly, resisting the urge to engage in arguments with strangers online protects your energy and keeps interactions constructive. Reflecting on these insights, consider how digital social intelligence can transform your online interactions. Are you intentional about the way you communicate and present yourself online? Do you prioritize authenticity and empathy in virtual spaces? How can you leverage your digital presence to align with your personal and professional goals? As we conclude this chapter, let's recap the main points. We explored how to navigate online interactions with clarity and thoughtfulness, understanding the impact of social media psychology, and maintaining digital communication etiquette. Building virtual relationships requires authenticity, while managing your online presence ensures alignment with your goals. Digital empathy allows for deeper connections, and avoiding common pitfalls keeps interactions positive and effective. The digital world is a tool, and like any tool, its value lies in how you use it. By mastering digital social intelligence, you not only enhance your ability to connect and communicate, but also contribute to a healthier, more meaningful online community. Your digital footprint is a reflection of your values, intentions, and aspirations. Use it wisely to build a future that aligns with your best self. Chapter 9: Social Intelligence in Professional Settings. The professional world is as much about people as it is about performance. At every level, social intelligence plays a critical role in navigating workplace relationships, fostering collaboration, leading teams, and building networks. Whether you are just beginning your career or already established, honing your ability to connect, empathize, and communicate effectively can be the difference between mediocrity and extraordinary success. Imagine walking into a room of colleagues, each bringing unique perspectives, motivations, and challenges. Your ability to read the dynamics of that room, engage effectively with its members, and adapt your communication to suit the context determines not just the immediate outcomes, but also the longer-term relationships you build. Research consistently shows that emotional and social intelligence are predictors of career success, sometimes even surpassing technical skills in importance. Workplace relationships are the foundation of professional success. They require mutual respect, trust, and effective communication. Consider the example of a manager who takes the time to understand their team members' strengths, interests, and aspirations. This manager not only fosters a positive work environment, but also unlocks greater productivity and engagement. Investing in these connections, whether with peers, subordinates, or supervisors, pays dividends in collaboration and morale. Reflect on how you currently approach workplace relationships. Do you actively listen? Are you empathetic in your interactions? Team dynamics and collaboration highlight the importance of understanding group behavior and leveraging diversity. Teams that excel are those where members feel psychologically safe, where they can voice opinions and take risks without fear of judgment. Google's Project Aristotle revealed that psychological safety was the most significant factor in team effectiveness, even more than individual talent. Developing this sense of safety starts with fostering inclusivity, respecting differing viewpoints, and encouraging open dialogue. Think of a time when you were part of an exceptional team. What made it stand out? Often, it is not the task but the trust and camaraderie that define its success. Leadership and social intelligence go hand in hand. Great leaders inspire, motivate, and influence through their understanding of people. They listen more than they speak, empower others, and lead with empathy and clarity. Take the example of Nelson Mandela, who demonstrated exceptional social intelligence in uniting a divided nation. His ability to connect with people from diverse backgrounds and build bridges across divides made him a transformative leader. Whether you are in a formal leadership position or leading informally, your social intelligence is your greatest asset. It allows you to inspire others, build consensus, and navigate challenges with grace. Client and stakeholder management is another area where social intelligence is indispensable. Relationships with clients and stakeholders require a balance of professionalism, empathy, and strategic thinking. A sales executive who truly listens to a client's needs, offers tailored solutions, and builds a genuine rapport is far more effective than one who relies solely on a scripted pitch. Understanding the motivations and concerns of stakeholders allows you to address their expectations and foster long-term partnerships. Consider your approach to client interactions. Are you focused solely on outcomes, or do you prioritize building trust and mutual respect? Professional networking is not just about exchanging business cards or adding connections on social media. It is about cultivating meaningful relationships that are based on mutual value and respect. Networking is a long-term investment, one that requires authenticity and consistent effort. Reflect on the story of Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks, who attributes much of his success to the relationships he built throughout his career. His ability to connect with people at every level of his organization, from baristas to executives, created a culture of collaboration and innovation. Your network is one of your most valuable resources, offering support, opportunities, and insights. How do you approach networking? Are you proactive and intentional about it? Negotiation skills are a cornerstone of professional social intelligence. Effective negotiators understand not just their position, but also the needs and motivations of the other party. They seek win-win outcomes that foster trust and long-term relationships. Consider the famous Camp David Accords, where President Jimmy Carter's ability to mediate between Egypt and Israel was rooted in empathy, understanding, and clear communication. Negotiation is not about winning at the expense of others. It is about finding solutions that create value for everyone involved. Think about your own negotiation style. Do you prioritize collaboration, or are you focused solely on your own goals? Career advancement through social skills is a natural outcome of mastering these elements of professional social intelligence. Employers value individuals who can lead, communicate, and collaborate effectively. Beyond technical expertise, it is your ability to navigate relationships, handle conflicts, and inspire others that sets you apart. Reflect on your career journey so far. How have your social skills contributed to your growth? What areas could you improve to reach your future goals? As we conclude this chapter, let's recap the key insights. Social intelligence in professional settings encompasses building workplace relationships, fostering effective team dynamics, and leading with empathy and clarity. It involves managing clients and stakeholders with care, cultivating meaningful networks, and excelling in negotiation. These skills not only enhance your immediate impact, but also set the stage for long-term career growth. Social intelligence is not a fixed trait, but a skill that can be developed with intention and practice. Each interaction, each challenge, and each opportunity to connect is a chance to refine your ability to understand and relate to others. Take a moment to reflect on your professional interactions. What steps can you take today to enhance your social intelligence? The path to professional success is paved with the relationships you build, the trust you earn, and the positive impact you create. Your ability to connect with others authentically and strategically is one of your most powerful tools in building a fulfilling and impactful career. Chapter 10: Advanced Social Intelligence and Personal Growth. In every interaction, there is an opportunity to grow, learn, and contribute. Social intelligence is not just about understanding others. It is about cultivating deeper wisdom in our relationships and using that wisdom to navigate the complexities of human behavior with grace and purpose. Advanced social intelligence goes beyond understanding. It encompasses growth, integrity, and a vision for creating positive change in the world. This chapter focuses on how you can elevate your social intelligence to not only enhance your personal connections, but also inspire meaningful transformation in your community and beyond. Developing social wisdom requires us to see beneath the surface of interactions, recognizing patterns and understanding motivations that drive human behavior. Wisdom in social settings is the ability to balance empathy with discernment, making thoughtful decisions that foster connection while maintaining boundaries. For example, think about how great leaders like Nelson Mandela approached conflict resolution. His ability to empathize with opponents while maintaining his convictions transformed tensions into opportunities for peace. Social wisdom involves taking a long-term view, asking yourself not just how an interaction serves immediate needs, but how it aligns with broader principles of respect, understanding, and growth. Ethical considerations play a vital role in advanced social intelligence. With influence comes responsibility. Whether you are a leader, mentor, or simply someone who values meaningful relationships, acting with integrity is non-negotiable. Consider the impact of your words and actions on others. A CEO who chooses transparency during a challenging time builds trust, even if the news being shared is difficult. Ethics guide us to prioritize honesty, fairness, and compassion, ensuring that the influence we wield is constructive and uplifting. Self-reflection and feedback are essential tools for growth. Developing advanced social intelligence requires consistent introspection to evaluate your interactions and the impact you have on others. Reflection helps uncover biases, blind spots, and areas for improvement. At the same time, seeking feedback from those you trust can provide valuable insights into how you are perceived. Imagine a teacher who consistently asks students for feedback on their teaching style. This practice not only helps the teacher improve, but also models humility and a commitment to excellence. Self-reflection is about creating space to ask, how am I showing up for others? Feedback allows you to answer that question with honesty and intention. Continuous improvement strategies are key to making social intelligence a lifelong journey. Growth requires deliberate practice. Just as athletes refine their skills through focused training, enhancing social intelligence demands effort and dedication. You can practice active listening by intentionally focusing on what others are saying instead of planning your response. You can strengthen empathy by putting yourself in someone else's shoes and imagining their perspective. Progress is not about perfection. It is about consistently taking small steps toward becoming the best version of yourself in every interaction. Teaching social intelligence to others is one of the most powerful ways to reinforce your own growth. When you help others develop their social skills, you deepen your understanding and create ripple effects of positive change. For instance, a manager who mentors their team on effective communication fosters not only a collaborative work environment, but also future leaders who will carry those skills forward. Sharing what you have learned about empathy, conflict resolution, and relationship building multiplies the impact of your efforts. Future trends in social dynamics provide fascinating insights into how relationships may evolve in the years to come. As technology continues to shape how we connect, virtual interactions are becoming a significant part of our lives. Artificial intelligence and virtual reality are already transforming social spaces, creating new opportunities and challenges for communication. Staying attuned to these trends allows you to adapt and thrive in an ever-changing landscape. For example, understanding how to build trust in virtual settings will be a critical skill as remote work and online communities grow. Creating positive social impact is the ultimate expression of advanced social intelligence. Whether through small acts of kindness or large-scale initiatives, every contribution matters. Think about people like Malala Yousafzai, whose advocacy for education and women's rights has inspired millions. Her story reminds us that one voice, when used with courage and conviction, can create profound change. In your own life, consider how you can use your social intelligence to make a difference. This might mean being a mentor, volunteering for a cause, or simply spreading positivity in your daily interactions. As we reflect on the ideas explored in this chapter, here are some questions to guide your growth. How can you cultivate greater wisdom in your relationships? Are your actions and words aligned with your values? What steps can you take to improve your social intelligence daily? And how can you inspire others to do the same? In what ways can you contribute to creating a more compassionate and connected world? To summarize, advanced social intelligence is about developing social wisdom, guided by ethical considerations and strengthened through self-reflection and feedback. It requires a commitment to continuous improvement and a willingness to teach and inspire others. Staying aware of future trends and social dynamics ensures that you remain adaptable and effective in a rapidly changing world. Ultimately, the purpose of advanced social intelligence is to create positive social impact, leaving the world better than you found it. Remember, the journey of mastering social intelligence is lifelong. It is not about reaching a destination, but about continuously growing, learning, and contributing. Use your skills to uplift others, and in doing so, you will elevate yourself. Social intelligence is not just a tool for personal success. It is a pathway to creating a legacy of connection, understanding, and positive change. Let this be your call to action. Step into every interaction with intention, integrity, and the desire to make a difference. Together, we can create a world where understanding and empathy are the foundations of every relationship. Social intelligence is the cornerstone of meaningful connections, effective communication, and the ability to thrive in a complex, interconnected world. As we conclude this exploration of mastering the psychology of human behavior, it is clear that the principles of social intelligence are not just tools for understanding others, but pathways to deeper self-awareness and personal growth. Throughout this journey, we have examined the intricate layers of social intelligence, from its evolutionary roots to its role in shaping modern relationships and professional success. We began by laying a foundation, exploring how social intelligence differs from general and emotional intelligence. This distinction is vital, as social intelligence encompasses the unique ability to navigate relationships, understand group dynamics, and interpret the unspoken language of human interaction. The neuroscience of social cognition revealed how our brains are wired for connection, emphasizing the importance of honing this skill in today's fast-paced and digitally driven world. Understanding others begins with the art of reading people. The ability to interpret nonverbal cues, such as body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice, allows us to uncover deeper truths behind words. This chapter highlighted the significance of cultural awareness and the common pitfalls of making assumptions. Developing observational skills requires practice, yet the rewards are immense, fostering trust and enhancing communication across diverse contexts. Emotional attunement emphasized the power of empathy and emotional regulation. Recognizing emotions in ourselves and others allows us to build resilience, practice active listening, and respond with understanding rather than reaction. Emotional intelligence is not just a complementary skill. It is a driving force behind meaningful connections and effective conflict resolution. Our exploration of social dynamics and power structures unveiled the intricate forces at play in group settings, from hierarchies and roles to alliances and organizational politics. Understanding these dynamics is essential for anyone seeking to influence, collaborate, or lead. Social capital, the currency of trust and reciprocity, emerged as a key element in navigating relationships with authenticity and respect. The psychology of influence and persuasion revealed the ethical considerations that accompany these skills. Building rapport, creating win-win scenarios, and using techniques such as reciprocity and authority responsibly empower us to inspire and motivate without manipulation. These skills, when grounded in integrity, can transform relationships and amplify impact. Social adaptability and flexibility underscored the importance of reading context and adjusting communication styles. Whether managing cultural differences, resolving conflicts, or leading diverse teams, adaptability ensures that we remain effective and empathetic in any situation. The ability to pivot gracefully in the face of changing circumstances is a hallmark of advanced social intelligence. Building and maintaining relationships reminded us of the enduring value of trust, boundaries, and meaningful connections. From cultivating networks to repairing damaged relationships, the chapter reinforced that relationships are living entities requiring care, attention, and intentionality. Strong social support systems are not just resources for personal well-being, but foundations for professional and societal success. Digital social intelligence brought our attention to the unique challenges and opportunities of online interactions. In a world increasingly shaped by social media and virtual relationships, mastering digital etiquette, managing online presence, and practicing digital empathy are non-negotiable. This chapter also emphasized the need for vigilance in avoiding common pitfalls, such as misinformation and superficial connections. In professional settings, social intelligence emerged as a critical driver of collaboration, leadership, and career advancement. Workplace relationships, negotiation skills, and client management all hinge on the ability to read people, adapt to different styles, and communicate with clarity and empathy. Social intelligence is not just an asset in the workplace. It is a key differentiator in achieving long-term success. Finally, advanced social intelligence invited us to reflect on the broader purpose of these skills. Social wisdom, ethical considerations, and a commitment to personal growth ensure that our social intelligence is used for positive impact. Teaching these skills to others amplifies their effect, creating a ripple of understanding and compassion in our communities. Awareness of future trends and social dynamics prepares us to navigate an ever-evolving world with confidence and foresight. As we draw this journey to a close, consider how the principles of social intelligence apply to your life. How are you showing up for others, and how can you deepen your understanding of the connections you create? Reflect on the role of empathy, adaptability, and integrity in your interactions, and challenge yourself to continually grow in these areas. Social intelligence is not a fixed trait, but a lifelong practice, one that evolves with every relationship, every interaction, and every moment of self-reflection. In the words of Maya Angelou, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. This timeless wisdom captures the essence of social intelligence. It is not just about what we do or achieve, but about the impact we leave on others. Let this be your call to action. Commit to being a force for connection, understanding, and positive change. Use your social intelligence to build bridges, inspire growth, and create a legacy of compassion and purpose. In mastering the psychology of human behavior, you are not only shaping your own future, but contributing to a world where empathy and wisdom prevail.